Show me your first figure that you ever got.
This is wild. You know, I've seen this on a couple of these lists, and every time I think to myself, how? Like, and maybe it's just me. I still have some of my toys from my childhood. Not way too many, but I have a couple of them still. I have a couple original G.I. Joes. Like, I believe one of them is a character named Dice. So that would be this guy right here. I think his name is Dice. I could be very wrong. I don't honestly know. I don't remember. But this guy, this flaily, wobbly guy at this point, is probably one of the oldest figures I'm still hanging on to. I remember playing with this guy in the basement of my dad's house for years. He's never been touched up. He's never been painted. He's very much worn and played with. He is what he is. The other Joe that I have from my childhood that's still sitting around is this guy right here. I don't know who he is. It was just a Joe. He was cool. I bought him. I remember I used him as like a Navy SEAL or something back when I used to play. I think part of his peg things broke off on both this foot and this foot, but there's him. In terms of really old toys, and this I would have to have been young. I had to have been young, but they definitely weren't my first, but they were probably like most played with is the best way that I could put them. For a while, I was really super into X-Men. So I had this Wolverine with the claws that used to click in, and now they don't. So you see, like, they won't do it, so he can't like pop the claws. They're just permanently out, which I've actually talked about on my YouTube in a video where I talked about action features versus action effects, that action features are destined to fail or hurt the articulation of a toy or the overall design and sculpt. And he's got this little thing here so he can like turn, but it doesn't, it just clicks now. It doesn't really do anything. I have this guy right here, who he had that battle damage, and I remember I got these two at the same time, and they used to fight like all the time. And then of course I had the Wolverine where he was like naked, basically, the Weapon X guy. I still have this, which is, this is a little car. I mean, it's Ecto 2, you can see what it is. But this was the little car that I used to drive around my grandfather's back porch. Like, we're talking so long ago. I used to just go out there and just drive it around. So I was young enough that like that could keep me busy for a couple of hours. I just like drive it around the table and whatnot, and then like I'd set up books and like push it, and like then I had like these little things like little ghosts from Ghostbusters. In fact, I know what ghosts they were. I used to act like they were giant ghosts, but I actually have them over here, because on this shelf right here, I've included them. So I used to pretend that these were giant ghosts and like ram the car into them after doing jumps and stuff like that. And of course, the original Ghostbusters and the Ecto and whatnot. I remember I had Rangers that were flip heads. I don't have those anymore. And of course, all 4 original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles I also had as well. So, like, if you're going up here, those were important figures to me. So maybe, like, big ones that really started me out. But there might be another answer to this question. See, for a while, like most of us do, a lot of us do this. We end up in a place where we stop collecting toys. We stop playing with toys. Then we kind of stop collecting toys, and then we never really go back to the hobby for a while, and then something happens that kind of sparks us into this area where we're like, who cares? Like, it's my money, it's my time, it's my freedom, it's my life. I'm just going to do things that make me happy, and if people don't like it, whatever. This isn't their life, it's my life. Let them say what they want to say. And we stop caring. We just kind of do the thing we want. And I remember one day, I'd gone to the store, and I'd looked around, and I found a Spider-Man. And then I left it. I was like, that's cool, man, that Spider-Man would have been sweet when I was a kid. Then I left. And then I remember I got home, and almost like fate, it wasn't fate. We're all very much aware that like Facebook and the phone is kind of listening to us and studying us, right? We're not oblivious to that. Okay, so let's go from that point. So I remember talking to a couple of my buddies that, hey, remember when we used to so and so blah 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 and that? I saw some toys today, man, that like make the toys that we grew up with look stupid. Like we had stupid, barely articulated, crappy toys compared to what kids are getting today. It's absolutely insane. After talking about it for a while, I come across this video where this guy, he's like doing like very much the kind of videos that like we do. Hey, look what I got, I picked up. And this guy goes, yeah, so today I was out there with my kid, and I got my kid the new Spider-Man, and then I got me a Spider-Man. Yeah, I'm an adult-ass man. I'm playing with toys. What? Do something. Do something. I don't give a shit what you think. He literally spoke like this. Like, that's the reason I remember it just ingrained in my head, because he was like, yeah, I buy toys too. Sometimes my kid wants a Spider-Man, and I want the same fucking Spider-Man. Do something. What? Who gives a shit? And I was like, he's right. Right? He's right. And it got me back in through Spider-Man. That's where it started again for me, is I had packed a lot of this stuff up. I had secured it in boxes. Some of it I had sold. Some of the stuff, like I said, that was in boxes is still sitting around today. And it just kind of blows me away that it's still there at all. But I remember I went back to, I think it was a Walmart. I went back to that Walmart. And I bought a Spider-Man. I loved the black suit. I remember loving the black suit. I wanted the black suit, so I bought him. And then I was like, after that, man, the door was open. I took him home. At first, I put him there in the display for a while, and then I was like, no, I want to see him. I want to touch him. I opened it. Psh, that was it, man. That tactile contact, putting him back in my hands, posing him, doing cool stuff, having him walk up the walls and everything like that. And I started recollecting Spider-Man. That was specifically what it was. I just went out and got Spider-Man stuff. And I said, this is kind of my thing. Spider-Man's kind of my favorite, one of my all-time favorite heroes and whatnot. So that's where I'll be. I'll collect Spider-Man stuff. And then I started looking around the mall, and I started seeing like cool Batman. And then I started seeing at the Toys R Us cool Marvel Selects, and cool Marvel Legends and Final Fantasy characters. And before I knew it, man, I was back in. But it's crazy to me sometimes, because I see a lot of these videos and they're always able to be like, this was my first action figure. And I'm like, I don't think I could do that at all. Like, I think my first action figure was probably when I was as young as like 3 or 4 years old, easily. I remember this big giant toy box in my basement where there were just figures thrown into it. I couldn't tell you what were the earliest ones. Ninja Turtles is the one that stands out in my head as being the first real action figures that I like wanted, that I specifically asked for, that I said, Dad, Ninja Turtles, right? Ninja Turtles. So maybe those turtles that are up on the wall, maybe those were my first, but I didn't necessarily know how to show this question, or because I don't think I know anymore. So, yeah.